Good morning, sir.
Very good morning to all of you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Just to give 1 minute.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Okay, so we will start. So yesterday, we completed the concept of flow control in detail. One point is remaining, that is try except finally. So that point we will cover in exception handling chapter. So today we will go to a new topic, that is Python function. So one of the important topic in Python programming before oops. So from the beginning, one point that I have told, that is what Python function is completely same as C programming function. One point I have told, just to recall, the developer Guido van Rossum borrowed the functional programming concept from C programming. So from the beginning, this point I had told. So now we will see in detail what is a function and how we will develop a Python program using function, and inside the function there are so many terminologies that we will discuss. So first of all, we will know what is a function. A function is a block of code. A function is a block of code, is a self-contained block of code to perform a specified task. A function is a block of code. A function definition representing a task. Okay. So next point, a function having a name and a function takes argument or may not argument. A function may take arguments or may not take arguments. We will see here in our context. In this context, there is a function call and there is a function definition. When a function is calling, then the function definition is executing. When a function is calling, then the function definition is executing. So we will see what is function call and what is function definition and how the function definition representing a task. Okay, a function returns a value. So that returning value considering as output value. At the time of function call, whatever we take arguments is known as actual argument. Similarly, at the time of function definition, at the time of function definition, whatever we take argument is known as formal arguments, is known as formal arguments. Here, actual arguments equals formal arguments. Okay, a function definition is preceded by the so this is small points regarding function. So overall, what is a function? A function is a block of code to perform a specified task. Function, there is a function call and there is a function definition. When a function is calling, then the function definition is executing. This is the main point. Function taking arguments, and there are two types of arguments. One is actual arguments, another is formal arguments. At the time of function call, whatever we take argument, that is called as actual argument, and whatever we take the argument at the time of function definition, that is called as formal argument. And in function context, actual arguments equals formal arguments. So we will see. So I hope everybody is writing what I wrote.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So we will go to the point. We will go to our environment. Suppose I will create a new file. Suppose I will give a name Python function. Already this name already given tutorial. This name is also available. Python functions. So we will say. So last point I have written a function definition is preceded by the keyword def. Suppose I will define a function. Suppose function name is so. So now so is my name of the function. Your name parenthesis, that is a function. So a function definition preceded by the keyword def. Def is a keyword. Now I will write print. Suppose I will write Python means Ceylon software. So now this statement is the body of function. Whatever you will write the statement here, all are body, function body. So we can say this is a function definition. This is a show function definition. Show function definition. And this function definition representing a task, one message we want to display, that is Python means Ceylon software. Suppose now I will hit run. So we can say this is the function definition. This is function definition. Suppose I will hit run just to say no output is coming. So now I defined a function. Function name is show function. But when I executed, so I did not get any output because already you have written, you defined a function. That does not mean that function definition will execute. So when the function definition will execute, when that function we will call. So now just to see, I will enter a backspace. When I entered backspace, just to see where is my cursor. This is called as indentation. Now I will call this function simply function name parenthesis. This is called as function call. This is called as function call because the function concept is saying when a function is calling, then function definition is executing. Without a function call, a function definition can't execute. And another point you remember, at the time of function definition, function name is so having no argument. At the time of function call, function name is so having no argument. So this is called a signature. At the time of function call and at the time of function definition, function signature should be same. Okay, function signature must be same. Just to see, now I will hit run. Now I got output. So when I called a function, then function definition executed. So when this line executed, control will go to the definition part to execute. So without a function call, what we are observing, without a function call, a function definition cannot execute. Give a response.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Suppose another example, suppose I will take, suppose I will say develop a Python program to find the area of a triangle. Suppose I will say develop a Python program to find the area of a triangle using function. Okay. So first of all, we will define a function. Suppose function name is let area. Okay, now you will analyze. So what is our task? Our task is we will find the area of a triangle. We know area of a triangle that is half into base into height, or we can say 0.5 into base into height. So number of input, that is base and height, and number of output, that is 1. So you remember one point. If you want to take argument, so within bracket, number of input, number of input is my base and number of input, that is my height. So that number of inputs you specify as argument. So I can write base height. In this way I can write. So now I am defining a function. So at the time of function definition, whatever we take arguments, that is called as formal arguments. So now I will write my business logic. Suppose output variable, suppose I will take a equals to 0.5, 0.5 into base into height. Okay, now I wrote my logic. Okay, then I will write my output statement, because without output statement, output value never come to the picture. So I can write the area of a triangle. The area of a triangle is, so the value of a. Now this is called as function definition. This is called as function definition. Now I came out from the function. Okay, this function definition representing a task. The task is what? Area of a triangle. So within bracket, I defined a function and name of the function is completely user defined. Ramo, Damo, Samo, whatever you take, there is no problem. So within bracket base comma height, I have written how I thought number of input, whatever you have in your problem task, that number of input you can will consider that is number of argument. Now I will call the function. So I will call the function. So another side, currently I was telling function call and function definition. Function signature must be same. So at the time of function definition, you have taken two argument. So when you will call that function, you have to take two parameter or you have to take two values. Suppose I will write for 3.4 comma 5.6. So this is called as function call. This is called as function call. So at the time of function call, whatever we take arguments, that is called as actual arguments. So 3.4 is the value of a base, 5.6 equals to height. That means value of height is 5.6. So when a function is calling, then function definition is executing. So when this line will execute, then this person will execute. Now I will hit run. Just to see output that I got, the area of a triangle is 9.5. So 3.4, 5.6, that is actual argument, base and height, that is formal argument. So give a response. I hope everybody got clarity.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So overall, only one point we have to remember: function call and function definition. And when a function is calling, then function definition is executing. A function definition always representing a task. Okay, a function definition always representing a task, and it is executing when that function we are calling. Otherwise, function definition will not execute. So this is all about function introduction. What is a function? How to write a program using function call, function definition, actual argument, and formal argument. Then we will go to an important point. So I hope everybody have written these points 1 to 9.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Then I will go to the new file. We will go to a point. I think you all have listened. I think it is a completely C programming concept, a recursion. So what is the meaning of a recursion? Recursion. So what is the meaning of recursion? Something is defining in terms of itself. Very important point. So if I will define in general, if something is defining in terms of itself is known as recursion. So what do you mean by this line? What is the meaning of this line? If something is defining in terms of itself, that is known as recursion. Suppose, for example, you consider one example, factorial of a number. So what I told, we will find the factorial of a number. Just you imagine, suppose I will give a number that is 5, suppose 5. 5 is factorial, so I can write 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. Yes or no? 5 is factorial, so I can write 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So this is a what? This is nothing but a series multiplication. That 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. That is, I can write 5 into 4 factorial, because 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, that is 4 factorial. So I can say 5 factorial equals to, if I will write the logic in another way, so I can write 5 into 4 factorial, because 4 factorial is 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. Otherwise, somebody will tell, sir, I can write 5 into 4 into 3 factorial. Another guy came, sir, I will write 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 factorial. Yes, it is right. That means we are finding, the factorial of a number by taking the concept of factorial. We are finding the factorial of a number by taking the concept of a factorial. So that's why we can say that representing a recursion. So if, suppose if I will write a 5 is n, so 5 into 4 factorial 4, that is 5 minus 1. So I can write n into n minus 1 factorial. N minus 1 factorial. In this way, I can write the logic, because currently I told 5 factorial, that is 5 into 5 4 factorial. So 4 I can write 5 minus 1. I can write, so if 5 is n, so that means n into n minus 1 factorial. Okay, so I hope everybody got clarity.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Suppose I will find the summation of a series. That series is given, but I will find by taking the concept of summation. So that's why I have written something is defining, in terms of itself. So we can say that concept is a recursion. So we will take an example. Develop a Python program, develop a Python program, okay, develop a Python program to find the factorial of a number using a recursion, develop a Python program to find the factorial of a number using a recursion. So first of all, one point also you can write also, when a function is calling to itself is known as a recursive call, or we can say that is recursion. So I will show you, when a function is calling to itself. So when a function is calling to itself, so that representing also recursion, or we can say that is a recursive call. So I will show you. So now I will define a function. Let my function name is factorial. Then every time that I am saying, whatever the task is given, any problem task is given, you have to analyze. Analyze in the sense number of input and the number of output requirement that you have to first find. So factorial of a number, if I will analyze, input is 1, output is 1. So always, if your function definition you are defining, so if you are wanting that how many arguments that you will take. So that is what, that is nothing but number of input. So here my number of input, that is 1. Suppose n, suppose I will take. Okay, now logic is what currently I told recurs this particular this problem task I saw n into factorial of n minus 1. But this logic is valid upward to number. Suppose I will tell if your number is 0. So if the number is 0, 0 is input, then n into n minus 1 factorial cannot implement. So that's why only upper two number 0 and 1, upper 0 and 1, any input value, suppose you will give, then you can implement n into factorial of n minus 1. So that's why I can write if n double equals to 0. If n double equals to 0, so directly I can write return 1. Return statement, return basically return is a keyword. So return statement is output statement. Suppose return 1 means the output is 1. If the value, if the value of n is 0, then output is 1. Else, that means else if n double equals to 1, then return 1, 1 factorial 1. Else, now I will write the logic. Logic is what? Return means output statement is what? Return n into factorial of n minus 1. I will explain how the control are treat. So this is my business logic what I wrote, return n into factorial of n minus 1. Because as per our discussion 5 factorial, that is 5 into 4 factorial, 4 I can write 5 minus 1. Now this is called as function definition. This is called as function. This is called as function definition. So I will explain how the control treats. Now I will enter backspace. Now I came out from the function. Now I will call the function. Suppose I will take a variable x, because my requirement is I will give the input value, I will give the input value through the keyboard, through the input device. So I will write input function, enter the number. So regarding this line already I have given the clarity. If my requirement is to give the input value through the keyboard, that means we have to call input function. So within input function, within double quote, whatever you have written, so that message it will come when you will run. So why I did typecasting? Because input function by default treat every value as a string value. But our requirement is we will give, we will take the input value as integer value. So that's why before input function I have specified int. That means target type I specified. That means x is a variable and the value of x, enter the number. If I will give the value, suppose 5 or 6 or 7, whatever you give, that is the value of x. Okay, now I will call the function. I will write factorial of x. This is function call. That means at the time of function call, whatever you take the argument, that is called actual argument. So we can say x is an actual argument and n is formal argument. And here in function context, actual argument equals to the formal argument. But just to see, there is no output statement. So output statement you have to write, it is mandatory, because without output statement, so no output will come to the picture. So what I will do, so this line, suppose I will write within a print function, within a print function. Suppose within double quote, suppose I can write the factorial, the factorial is, the factorial is this. So now this is a function call. The factorial is within double quote. I wrote the factorial is. See that message will come. The factorial is. The factorial is, then this the value of this, the value of a factorial of x. So when it will call, this is called as function call, and this is called as function definition. Now, just to see, I will show you how the control will treat. But before that, just I will I will run your program. Now I will hit run. Enter the number 5. Now factorial is 120. Suppose again I will hit run 6. Factorial is 720. Any number you can give. 4. Factorial is 24. So any input value you will give, then you will get the factorial of that number. Now I will hit run. Suppose I will give 5. Suppose 120. So when enter the number, this message is coming, and we are providing the value 5. Okay, we are providing the value 5. That is the value of x. X is a formal argument, and n is, sorry, x is actual argument, n is a formal argument, but actual equals to formal. That's why x value, whatever we provided, that is 5. That is the value of n. Now, just to see, I will explain. Now, I am explaining. Okay. So now the value of n is 5. Okay. So you tell. So first, when the function called, then function definition will execute. Just to see, factorial of n. The value of n is 5. 5 is the value of x. X equals to n. That's why n value is 5. Then you tell, so now body will execute if n double equals to 0. Means 5, the value of n is 5. So 5 double equals to 0. Condition false. Control came to the ellipse section. N double equals to 1. 5 double equals to 1. Condition false. Control came to the else part. Return. So return is the output statement. Return 5 into, return 5 into factorial of 5 minus 1. Return n value, that is the value of n is 5. 5 into factorial of 5 minus 1. So I can write that is 4. As you see, when the control read, so when the control read, so now this is a function call. When the control read 5 into factorial of, because the name of the function is factorial, parenthesis is given, inside the parenthesis one value, so we can say that is an argument. When the control read this person, when the control read this person, immediately control will feel this is a function call. So as per the concept, when function is calling, immediately control will go to definition part. So here function is calling, immediately control will go to definition part. Now factorial of 4 means, so it is a function call. Now the control will go to the definition part. So value of n is 4. So 5 came to the consideration for output. So for this, so when control read this factorial of 4, now the control understood, now the control considered it is a function call. So when the function will call, immediately control will go to the definition part. That means when a function is calling, function definition executing. So now n value is 4. So again it will execute if 4 double equals to 0. Condition false. Control came to the next elif section. 4 double equals to 1. Again condition false. Control go to the or control came to the else part. So in else part what have written? So 5 was available previously. Now n into return n into factorial of n minus 1. So now the value of n is 4. 4 into factorial of 4 minus 1. So now 4 minus 1 I can write 3. So now 5 into 4 into this terminology. Again it is a function call. It is a function call. It is a function call. So control considering 5 into 4 into factorial of 3. So 5 into 4 into factorial of 3. Factorial 3 is a function call. Now concept is saying when function is calling, immediately function definition will execute. In which line function called, immediately function definition started its execution. Now the value of n is 3. Now if 3 double equals to 0, condition false. Control came to the ellipse section. 3 double equals to 1, condition false. Control came to the else part. So now in else part, so 5 into 4 into, so now n into fact, because particularly we are finding this, or before that 5 into 4 is available, we are finding the solution of a factorial of a 3. So n into, so now the n value is 3, n into means 3 into factorial of 3 minus 1. Okay, so n minus 1, 3 minus 1, 3 minus 1, that is 2, factorial of 2. Now, factorial of 2 is a function call. So, factorial of 2 is a function call. Factorial of 2 is function call. So, now 5 into 4. 5 into 4 into 3 into factorial of 2. This is the solution. But 5 into 4 into 3 into factorial of 2. Factorial of 2. Now control will treat it is a function call. Now control will evaluate. Now the value of n is 2. 2 double equals to 0. Condition false. Control came to the ellipse section. 2 double equals to 1. Condition false. Control came to the else part. Now else part will execute, that is, so 5 into 4 into 3 into factorial of 2 evaluated. N, that is 2, n into n minus 1. Factorial of 2 minus 1. 2 minus 1, that is 1. So now directly, so again it is a function called factorial of 1. So factorial of 1, if the value of n is 1, then return 1. So already we have given in your logic, if the value of n is 1, return 1, that means output is 1. So I can write, so factorial of 1 is 1. So that means 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into factor of 1 is 1. That is 1. So in this way, control treat, and this is called as recursion. This is called as recursion. I hope everybody got clarity. And you see, function definition. Now this is called as function definition. In this function definition, this function is calling to this. So that's why I wrote when a function is calling to itself. So we can say that is a recursive call, and overall that representing recursion. Give a response.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I hope everybody have written. You
Yes,
write
sir.
all this. So this part you have written.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so next point. Only 15 minutes is remaining. I think that point, if I will start, it will not complete. So, okay, so tomorrow, just I am giving a task. Actually, what last time I think I was giving a task. I hope you have not done. I think you have not submitted exactly which task that I had given. Exactly, I have forgotten. I think I have given a task. I had given a task. I think exactly I have forgotten. Okay, so you write a task tomorrow. You will deposit. You will show. Okay, you can what give a mail also to my mail ID. If you show, otherwise WhatsApp Java by trilochan@gmail.com. If you are not able to do, then I will do. But if you will not submit, if you will not raise your question, then I cannot know how far you are but gaining the knowledge. Okay, so task is my point is you do one program, another one program in recursion. This is the one of the good example of recursion, factorial of a number using recursion. Do you know, guys, Fibonacci series? Do you know what Fibonacci,
Yes.
guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
what is that?
Yes.
So what is Fibonacci series? So develop a Python program. Develop a Python program to create